So today we have a very special guest, at least for me. Ryan, someone I would love to talk to. A guy that, from what I understand, is a very interesting guy. So Ryan, welcome to this podcast.
Dean, it's awesome to be here. I'm glad you reached out. I'm really excited. Through my journey, I just haven't really shared a whole lot. I've just been nose to the grindstone, making stuff for so long that those that know me, but they just happen upon me. Usually, it's not I'm not actively trying to get out there. I've just over the years have been stumbled upon. So it's a pleasure to be on your show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So many thanks for being here. And before we begin, let me tell you how I found you.
Yes,
How I
that's
found
always interesting to me because I don't know how people find.
yeah, yeah, that would be interesting, Yeah.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, I was trying to figure out how to exercise to do more interesting things, And I'm also, I don't know, but if you know, but I'm very, I like history, I like mythology. So from a very early age, I like all Hercules, all the Greek mythologies, because I'm from Greece. So I like all the war, all the battlefields, all these things, and I was kind of bored with my exercise earlier this year, and then the lockdowns happened. The whole Corona, I don't know, whatever, the
Yeah.
whole thing. I don't want to tell you more about. I don't want to say the word. So the whole
Right.
thing, anyways, because I don't want to be banned. But the whole thing happened, and I was, it was very fortunate because in a way I wanted to be pushed outside of my home and to do something different. So it was a desire of mine already. And then I started looking, and I found a guy. He's called the Black Viking,
Yes.
Klaus. You know
Mhm.
him?
I do. I think I made a hammer for him, and I love what he does as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. He
Yeah.
does similar things, I think. See, for anybody, I've done an interview with him, but for anyone who doesn't know Klaus, he's doing things with axes. He's exercising with maces, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But he's doing very, how can you say, war fitness, I call them. War fit programs. It's like being a warrior, basically. It's like,
Yes. Yes.
like, yeah, like old times, good old times. So that's, I found him, and then I found a guy that's called a UK guy from the UK. He's the guy Raspberry Ape, Strauss, Daniel Strauss, and he's I don't know if you know him, but he's very prominent there regarding Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a black belt, and he's doing also that kind of fitness, maces, balls, grips, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated. I saw these guys, and I was wow. I mean, I want to start, and then I figured, you have to order these things. Of course, someone is probably making these swords and these weird equipment.
Right.
And I started googling and stuff. And I found a couple of guys in the UK, and then I stumbled upon you. And I was like, I, I went to your Instagram, and you were like, that the crazy guy, with making the crazy facial expressions and holding an axe. And I
Right.
was like, yeah, that's the guy. I want to know more about you. So that's how I found you, man, and really fascinating. Where can we start? Do you want to say how? Why? Why,
Yeah,
Ryan?
yeah. I suppose let me try to remember things and and we'll go from there. I'm 47 now. Um, I started at a machine shop when I was 16 as their draftsman. So I was drawing blueprints for this machine shop. Um, at that time, I was 2 years into my physical kind of journey with body weight stuff. At 14, I discovered some of my dad's Joe Weider lessons and was doing those and was just hooked as soon as I started doing these exercises with chairs and broomsticks and stuff like that. So at the machine shop and strength, the bodybuilding was pretty big in
Yeah,
the
that was Ryan. That was in the 80s.
yes, yep 80s, early mid late 80s. Yeah, so bodybuilding was, took me. Arnold Schwarzenegger, all his movies. It's like, oh, of course, who doesn't want to be Arnold when they're watching his movies? So I started making my own power racks and flat benches, bicep benches, in those early years before I was 18. And then when I moved out of my mom and dad's, I was selling equipment through the newspaper classifieds. So I've always been making strength gear and selling it. And then fast forward to, probably 2000, 2002, 2003, Brooks Kubik, dinosaur training. Are you familiar with that? He wrote articles for like Iron Man magazine, and it was taking you back to the old timers and how they trained, and then the grip. He was really doing like fat handled grip stuff, and that's what sparked me into grip training, and then also making grip stuff. So like my website, Stronger Grip, came from that, building grip stuff. So I used to just have things for your grip. I actually started selling them on eBay before I made my own site in 2006. And then that somehow went into like feats of strength, bending horseshoes and spikes. Are you familiar with that?
I've seen some things.
Ripping
Yeah.
phone books. So
Very
that's what I was doing like in the early Stronger Grip years, is I was doing these feats of strength. I would do some performances, and then I made grip stuff to build stronger wrists and grip strength, all for there's like spike bending, horseshoe bending, phone book ripping, card tearing, just a bunch of driving a nail through a board with your hand, that kind of stuff. Old time strongman is what that's what Stronger Grip started. And since then it's evolved. I can't remember. I think 2010 is when like hammers came into mind. I always cut wood as a youth, like at my grandpa's farm, and that kind of training was, it's awesome training, cutting wood. So a sledgehammer, I came up. My smash target, which is half of an industrial skid loader tire. Those products came on, and then things just started like morphing into old time all around strength stuff, not just your barbell or just your grip stuff. And that's led to so many things since then that I need almost to write everything down so I can have a timeline of how things happened, because it was just wild, the people that found me. Like Michael Clark Duncan, the actor, the late actor, he had ordered a mace several years ago, just from a YouTube video I put out. And then the Atlanta Falcons football team, they had me build this really awesome battle axe challenge thing and a set of Thor hammers for their gym. Then the World Arm Wrestling League was looking for a trophy when they had their inaugural season. And they somehow found my site, and I did the hammers for them. So they were on ESPN. The winner would get a bunch of cash, and then one of my hammers they'd hold up on ESPN. And just so many different things that found me. And then as my metal skills got better, I just wanted to do things that I like too. So like the battle axes and different things from comic books or movies and stuff like that, just to kind of stand out more, but also to give the customer something that you can't get anywhere else. Because I did find, though I'm a one-man show, you have these big companies that watch, and then they come up with something super similar, like they were inspired. And I never wanted to compete, and can't compete with that kind of mass production and cost, because your value, your quality does go down when you go to that next level of, okay, my goal is just to make money. And my passion has always been to just put awesome designs and to get something in someone's hands where they get it, they're like, oh wow, I've never, had something like this in my hands before.
Yeah.
So that was it. And then there's kettlebells and martial arts along the journey, where everything I got into, I made something specific for it, for training wise. So Highland Games, martial arts, yeah, kettlebells, just all of that, kind of just the path of looking for some, like you said, you kind of get stagnant, or there's more out there, so you just search, and then these things come to light for you, and you add them to your training, and you're like, oh wow, this is really awesome. And I've never been one to have one thing where, oh, the kettlebell, this is all I want to do the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I've always wanted to do everything because it all has a place.
Yeah. So in a way, I understand that you didn't start your thinking by what's more good for the body, in a sense that, okay, I want to train my rear shoulders or my calves, or so you didn't start from the biomechanics, but you start kind of from the fantasy slash strongman, old timers, and with a bit of care, more mythology, more access. That's how I perceive it. When I see your art, because it is an art. It's not just an equipment.
Yeah.
It's like, the only way to do that stuff, it's not to say, okay, I want to train my traps, so I'm going to
Right.
buy Ryan's equipment. So it doesn't make sense that way. It's not. It's easier in the sense to, okay, get a barbell, get two dumbbells or a kettlebell, and do something for your traps. But holding one of your axes, your mazes, your everything, it's like pride thing. You're proud of holding something like that. It's like you take care of it. I think that's how I feel the whole thing.
Yeah,
It's
that's the kind of the feedback I get from the customers too. Is they do they have a connection with that piece I made them, or in some cases several pieces that they've gotten from me. But it's a motivation, You have this connection with it, and yeah, I love all kinds of training, and whether you're a beginner or whatever. But as we get older, I think we want to just stay healthy and strong. So a lot of those movements, the old time, swinging a sledgehammer or a sword or an axe around, you kind of get just a general, healthy, well-being feeling doing that without punishing yourself. You can still punish yourself if you want to, but I think there's a shift in your mindset, or should be, as we get older, knowing that if you want to continue to feel that strength in your as we age, then yeah, you've got to tame down that all or nothing mindset.
Yeah, I'm I'm just 30 years old, but I'm starting to understand that that's true. True statements right there, because when I was 20 or 16,
Yeah.
I was how do you say it? Balls to the walls.
Yes,
Like
yes,
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, and I was injured, a couple of times more, maybe. I was injured and I was frustrated because fuck. I
Mhm.
mean, damn it. So, and then I got slowly for the past, 4 years, five, I started, playing. I started visualizing fitness as more of a playful thing that's kind of enjoyable. You know?
Yeah.
And I got the idea. I don't know if you know that guy. He's Art Divine. You know him? He's an economist from US, and he has written a couple of books, I think. And one of them is called. It's about the Paleolithic diet. So about meat, eating whole foods and stuff. And uh, his book, inside his books, he wrote some of his ideas regarding fitness, and he was writing that he was doing sprints now and then. He was doing all kinds of exercises without really taking hold of his progress, without measuring and being
Oh, yeah.
obsessed.
Is that
So he
Tim
wasn't.
Ferriss?
He was on Tim Ferriss's podcast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's called Art Divine. I can send you if you want later to check him out. Interesting guy, interesting guy. And he's very strong. He's like 90 years old now, and he's super strong.
Uh,
And that was very interesting when I, read it, and I tried, and it serves me well. So, and that's why I like your kind of philosophy, your kind of training. And I think, doing barbell, unless you are doing the same repetitive barbell exercises, doing the bench press, doing the deadlift, I don't want to undermine them. Yes, very
Not at
useful.
all, because I love those exercises as well, and there'll be a month or two out of the year that I'll spend doing those because I grew up on them. I do love them. I just don't want to punish myself by doing them all the time.
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. And I think you can get punished. I have a theory of mine, Ryan. I don't know if you agree or you have another opinion about that. But I think that repetitive motions for the body aren't very well for the joints, and that's something, of course, that's debatable. So people say that it's okay. So I have a book, for example, right? And this is another guy from the US. He's called Doug McGuff. Do you know him?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
He's a proponent of the very hardcore exercise for very short period of time,
Okay.
doing one set like some bodybuilders of the past did that, and you do very short, intense, not intense in speed, so it's very slow, but you're doing to the death, so you're basically puking after that after
Right,
the
right.
session.
Yes.
And he's a proponent of doing once a week exercise, just that. And I did that, Ryan. I did that. It was kind of fine. It was fine in the sense that I was getting some results, but
Yeah.
I was so fearful when the day was to pushing those
Upon you to
weights.
do that, yes.
Yeah, I was fearful, and I also got a bit of injured. I got a bit of small, elbow, blah blah blah. And that's why all these opinions and ideas of mine, came together this year. And I fortunately found you because I think that these that the art that you're doing and the exercises that you can do with the maces, the swords, the hammers, and all this the grip strength and all that stuff, it's not only for fun for Instagram stories, because when I see your Instagram feed and I see a classic fitness guy, you are much more interesting. Let's get this out of the way. It's much more funny. It's much more engaging. Much more, oh, that's awesome. But it's, I think, useful. What do you think? What do you think? Because you said already that it's kind of easier for the body. What do you think about all that?
Well, and I suppose maybe it's not that those things are easy, because there are people that just can't get out of the mindset of balls to the walls or do or die. So they'll take anything and kill themselves. So it almost starts with just changing your perspective a little bit if you want to stay healthy. And I'm all for doing that, do or die, or seeing what we've got in us maybe a couple times a year or just throughout the year, but not all the time, because we all want to challenge ourselves. We want to be the warrior. But if you do that with everything, because there are people with like the maces and grip stuff where they just do too much, and they're ruining, their elbows, their shoulders, because they can't back off. So something, it's not lack of knowledge, but it's that we all love the movies where they overcome, and it's everything they've got, but it's just a movie, and it's just for a short time. It's not all the time. Our bodies will break, and the theme, it seems, especially in the US, is that's cool. If you're going hard all the time, that's awesome, and that's a badge to wear. But I don't see that, because I see the end result where these guys are crippled or they're not feeling good, and then they start telling stories of what they used to do. And I want to be the guy that's telling stories of what I did yesterday or what I'm going to do today up until my late ages. And I also like the imagination in your training. And you'll hear people's excuses. Oh, that's boring, or I got bored with this, so now I'm doing that. Well, that's not what you're doing. That's you, and not having an imagination, or putting something more into your training than just going through the motions. So I think like my gear at least gives the visual of them, where it can spark their mind into, what movie did you watch as a kid, or what book did you read, where you can get into that character and feel like that hero or that warrior, and then train every day doing those things.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die. And these shields, boys!
I think it's more sustainable than just writing in a notebook that you did 2 miles, or you did 10 sets of 10, doing really mind-numbing exercises. Again, nothing wrong with that, but I love to be engaged, and I love to have the brain active as well, which most swinging things you have to be more aware when you're doing it, or the feedback is some clumps and bumps as you're swinging stuff around.
Yeah, about that, I don't know if you've listened, Klaus, the guy, the Black Viking.
Yes.
He had a story about the mace, and he was swinging that thing, and I don't know, mace it was, I don't know what it was, but he was swinging, and that got comfortable. He got fresh, and he lost control, and bam.
Right.
But, no, yeah, it's that's something that also bikers. I don't know. I think you have a bike, right?
What's that?
You have a bike? Do you ride bikes and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I say this because from friends that I have, bikers, they have to be very focused on the street. So it's not like riding a car. It's you have to be, especially if you speed, you have to be aware of your environment. And I think it has kind of the same feeling, because I don't ride bikes, but I was on a bike. You have to, unless you want to die, you have to. And I think that's something that's lacking from modern men. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. There's a disconnection with just our bodies in general, and there's no. I don't know how it got like disconnected where I don't know how to use this thing. So it's really strange. Like putting a sledgehammer in somebody's hands that's never used one. It's very awkward to watch. And I think there was a day when it was not awkward, where you would give a human being a tool and they would kind of know what to do with it. But that body awareness and that connection with our body is dissipating, and I don't know how or where it's gone. And it's hard to get back as you get older. So I think it starts as a youth. Like here in like where I'm from in the Midwest, you have farming and farmers doing the chores out in the fields. You know, kids used to do that growing up, and so they were very aware and they were very strong. You know, a lot of people would ask if the kids lifted weights, but it was just from doing chores. But even that's going away because of all the automated tractors and all these things that now it eliminates the actual labor and work. So they're disconnected from what their bodies are capable of.
From what I'm hearing, you have basically two things. One is that we're disconnected from an early age and from our bodies for some reason. And the second is that, basically enhancing the first point, that we don't farm, we don't do physical work. And that's, yeah, I'm in full agreement with all that, because here in Greece, we used to be farmers, many families, and still now. But in the past, even in the 70s and 60s, most of the country was farmers and animal raising, goats, sheep, and blah blah blah. And if my grandma, for example, she's like 90.
Yeah.
And she has a strength that's, if she does, how do you call this? Brown FM, the thing. If she does that thing with a young with many young 20-year-old guys,
Nice.
she will win, Ryan. I'm not joking. She will win the thing, the competition, because she's so strong. It's superhuman.
Yeah.
But she's moving. She's carrying weights. She's moving. She's up in the mountains. It's a hard life, but hard life makes like they say, hard people, strong people.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, we are missing that, and it's refreshing that you have these things. I don't know if I can call them weapons, but it's a great visual reminder of the past. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. And how do we bring that back into just today's culture, where the goal is to make things easier, which is good, but they still have to somehow hold on to putting their body under a load. And like your grandmother, these were like all day long she would do these things. You can't compete by going to a half-hour class, 2 days a week for health when that was a thing. And my grandpa, he lived to be 96, but the farm he lived on had no running water. So he'd have to walk up the hill with buckets, fill them up with water, bring them down, and it was just that, yeah, labor intensive, but it also kept your body constantly moving and under a load. You just can't, you can't beat that. You can't get you can't get on a stationary bicycle and get that kind of health.
No, yeah, no, no. In any case, and another thing that bothers me, and I don't know if you agree or not, but I have to say that another thing that bothers me that we try to find suffering. So we try to suffer. In a sense, we know that we fucked up. We know that something is not going right. We have to kind of suffer, work out. We try to do that, but it's so. I find it so vain. So we try to do triathlons. We try to run 50 marathons in 50 days. And we say that these people are awesome. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. But I think that we are losing the meaning, the meaning behind the law. For example, your grandpa, he went there, he exercised, but he did that because he had to. It was to feed his family, himself. And my grandmother saying, she was walking like 20 kilometers per day, which is I don't know how many miles at least, to bring water. No, the same. And maybe in the past, a guy had to build his own home, and that was a struggle. Have to carry load, to push things, to shovel.
Yeah.
You exercise, but there was a meaning, and now I see all these modern people with our modern clothing and our protein bars, blah blah, trying to kill our bodies, suffer, but for nothing, just to get attention, and it bothers me, Ryan. I have to say, it bothers me. I don't know. Have you observed kind of the same? Is this an American thing? I don't know.
Possibly, and I struggle with that because, like, the social media, I know it's good to be seen so people know you're out there, but I like doing things just for me. You know what I mean? It's not in a vanity way. Hey, look what I did. I just like pursuing things for myself. Where in the vein, like you spoke of, it seems like a lot of people are just doing it so others are, hey, look at me, and that's their journey, is just to be seen, not actually what there's nothing. I don't know if it comes from your heart or what, but it's that that need to get a like, or to, instead of just doing what you love doing. So I struggle with that business wise, and well, and that's why I don't post a whole lot of training stuff, but I should, because I think it'd be fun for people to watch.
Yeah, certainly.
uh,
I have to say, man, I saw a video of yours, and you were with a huge. I don't know. Was that an axe? Yeah, like an axe, but very weird shaped. And there was how do you say this? A Halloween pumpkin. Halloween
yes.
pumpkin.
Yes.
That was. I mean, I laughed so hard. So. So so funny.
That was the Death Dealer blade. That was the Death Dealer battle axe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last year I made one that was 3D, so it was loadable. You could load it. It didn't have a sharp edge to it, but it had a 3D shape to that blade. Well, the one you saw was just a blade, because I sold that one and I missed having it, so I made one so I could have. And then it was Halloween. I had some pumpkins that needed punished. But yeah, even swinging that around, you could feel your body like, oh, this is it's heavier than a baseball bat, but your wrists and your shoulders, you felt the battle with the pumpkins afterwards, and it was
Yeah.
fun.
Klaus told me that it's very different when you swing a kettlebell or even a mace,
Mhm.
and it's very different from swinging, like you said, an axe or something that's very long, and the weight is not isometrically, balanced. Is that true?
Absolutely, yeah. The kettlebells, even your clubs or your hammers, swords, depending on the length of them, your leverage is longer, and each tool you've got to learn and respect it, or it will slap you and tell you that's wrong. Have you done any kettlebell work?
Yeah, I'm very, it's what I'm doing for the past 4 or 5 months, and I'm fascinated because I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because you can carry them outside first, which is something I love.
Yes.
I love to train in the sky, and we are blessed here because we have sun like 300 days per year.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, that's a good thing. Maybe the only
Yeah.
one of the couple things good in Greece, south in Greece. If you like sun, if you like sun, you can.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
scenery, do you have like awesome landscapes too?
yeah. These are the blessings that we have as Greeks. You can have mountains and you can have sea and you can have rivers all in like 1 hour from your home, wherever you are.
That's
Like
awesome.
yeah, you do you want to go to skiing? Okay, just drive 1 hour. Do you want to go to a beach like Jamaica, like Bahamas? 1 hour, 2 hours maximum. So it's
Wow.
like whatever you like. We're very yeah, we're very blessed, and but there are other problems here that
Yeah.
are a little bit worrisome. Uh, by the way, we have a long history, of course, do you plan to I don't know if you have already, but do you plan to create things like from ancient Greece and stuff, like shields or maybe helmets or maybe swords, like ancient Greek swords? Do you have any plans on that?
Absolutely. I've done the last 2 years. I've done some really fun custom ones, and what I'd like to do is start researching or looking at the different customs and regions and doing some like a short run of popular items for this.
For every region.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, send me pictures if you have something that you're dreaming of.
Deal. I'm dreaming of that, of having these things like when I was 3 years old. So
Yeah.
that will be a dream fulfilled in life. uh, yeah, it's awesome. That's a great idea, by the way, because if you see history for the past 2 or 3 millennia, there are so many weapons, so many different things, so many cultures, and the variety of the technology of war, because it's a technology in a sense, but it was also art. When you see, for example, I don't know if you agree, but when you see the Second World War, and it's very efficient. Don't get me wrong. It's bombs, blah blah. It was it's a great leap technology, but it was very ugly, very gray, very. And when you see Chinese from the Zhao dynasty or ancient Athenians
Yeah.
or Romans, it's like art. You have to kill that guy in front of you, but like you have first to take a minute and be wowed, like whoa. That's
Yes, yes.
a beautiful armor. That's wow. And the swords they had, custom. In Greece, for example, in ancient Greece, the polis krati, which was the ancient cities, every city had a different, logo. Can you
Yeah.
say? And every person, every soldier, depending on how much money he had and influence, he had a different customed, shield or spear. So, and the swords, the wealthy guys, they had beautiful swords. It was like art.
Right.
And I think modern humans, and you can see that also in modern art. You see that everything is becoming efficient and great. And it's like, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
The nuances, the fine details are not, they're not there. And yeah, I wish I could go back to those times and be around those making the weapons. I would really love to go back in time and watch them do that and hope and help them. That would be so cool.
Yeah, in a sense, I think you bring that honor, you bring that memory of these guys, of these artists, because yeah, it's lost. And barbers are fine, but they are efficient again. It's like steel, and it has a shape, okay. But I find personally that it's not boring exactly, and neither are nor are fitness centers boring, but they are very gray, very efficient, very sterilized, very non-artistic. It's
Yeah.
like, I imagine, so I visualize how ancient warriors maybe they were training, and you can see them outside, fighting in the dirt and having helmets and doing elaborate movements and near the mountains, and you have all that scenery, and you fight and stuff, and you have your custom sword by your grandpa, and your
Right.
grandpa. Yeah, it's an honor. It's not. Oh, okay. Yeah, I buy my gun from that and that massive production company, and yeah, it's the same for everybody.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Ryan. That's why I reached out for you, because I think what you're doing is not just the art. It's a movement of art. It's I think we have to take back art and to recreate even gyms, even fitness centers. I would love to see them be more beautiful in a sense that maybe create a warrior gym. Do a
Yeah.
gym and have huge paintings from ancient warriors, and this is something that brings these memories back. To make it more, I don't know, more artistic. Maybe I'm too dreamy here. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I think it's good to be dreamy because that's kind of what makes everything, gives us meaning. I don't think, I think it's a dead end when people just go into like pursuing health because they have to or because of something they saw. If there's nothing really like pulling you, if you're not putting your heart into it, eventually you'll just do it for a short time and then you're done. Where if they see that there can be meaning from that, which even as I was young, that was the path of self discovery, is seeing what your body could do, is challenging yourself, and then you break down these barriers and you move forward, and it's just a parallel with how you live your life. You're training your body, training your mind. It helps with relationships, your business, whatever you're doing. You have that standard you keep setting higher and higher, and it keeps you going.
Yeah, that was well said.
Uh,
Since we're reaching to the end, and that saddens me, but
yeah.
I promise 45. Damn it.
Uh, hey, we can do
Well,
another one at a future date.
yeah, at a future date, I would love to. I would love to. And maybe we can choose a theme to talk about, whatever. Uh,
Absolutely.
do you have any last words for the audience? Because I'm going to showcase, I'm going to have your links and stuff or anything, and I'm going to put some pictures along the way of the interview. So
Okay.
most probably by now people have seen your stuff, kinda. So do you have anything to say? Any last words for anyone who's interested, maybe to start with your uh, weapons?
Ah, I would pursue health, find enjoyment in it, and yeah, shoot for something more than just normal. You know, it seems for some reason boring. People say it's boring, but I see their daily lives. It's not super exciting. So why is this pursuit of health boring to them? I'd like to see that go away. I'd like to see people use their imagination and just find some connection with whether it be a tool or something to I don't know, be more childlike, like we were when we were kids. You'd imagine things. Don't stop doing that. keep using that imagination and let it bring you health. I would say that's my big thing. That's all I haven't grown up yet. I don't plan to.
Yeah, that's the source, that's the source of life, the spice of life. It's be a child.
Yes.
Anyways, you heard the man, people, three people, two people that are here with us, but you heard Ryan, and I totally agree, and I take your advice to heart. So I'm going to remain silent this as much as I can. And thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dean.
To invest your time. I know that you are a creator, and that's something that's lacking in our society. I'll say this again: creating beautiful and deep work. If you like Ryan, if you like his ideas, and like our chat, definitely go check his Instagram. You're going to have a laugh there and enjoy, amuse yourself, and with Ryan's beheading pumpkins and, and other things. And check his equipment. It's beautiful. It's artistic, and I hope to see more of your art, Ryan, in the next years. And I hopefully will get my Athenian shield at some point. I will order it.
Send me some pictures, and I'll get to I'll put it in my head and start coming up with something.
Awesome. Thanks again, man.
Thank you, Dean.
Have a nice day. I think there's a
yes.
day, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Take care.